Good evening, everyone. Yeah, welcome to the orientation. I had to delay a little bit for everyone to join because I don't want anybody to miss out. So tonight we are looking at orientation for underlevel Faculty of Science students. This orientation is open to every student in Faculty of Science. That is, once you are freshly admitted into the university, everything I'm going to discuss is going to be beneficial to you. So I want you to pay rapt attention. Because of the time frame, data consumption, and other logistics, I will not be staying long. So I'm going to break it down into phases. So this is the volume one of this orientation. By the way, my name is Bamidele Udumosu. I am the sub-dean of the Faculty of Science. So I will be responsible for some information that is that you require. And also, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer your questions. Very quickly, let's go into the orientation proper. I hope you can all see my screen. So we are going to be looking at this orientation in phases. Like I said, hold on. Okay. So we are going to look at it in phases. This first phase, this is the outline. We are going to look at the CCMAS. We're also going to look at the numbers 2 item, which is the call forms, registration forms, dockets, your teaching classes and practicals, then CGPA, calculation, significance. Then lastly, we'll look at letters. So letters, I'm just going to talk about it briefly. Then we'll talk about that in the next episode. Many of you have been asking about this CCMAS thing because it looks like it's a bit confusing. A lot of people doesn't, probably they have an idea of what is going on before. So when they came around now, they discovered that the CCMAS is what is being used and a lot of questions. So that one of the reasons why I decided that, okay, I'm going to look at this CCMAS thing and try to explain it. So CCMAS is called Core Curriculum Minimum Academic Standards, CCMAS. And the purpose of the CCMAS is to harmonize academic standards across all universities. That is to say that all universities in Nigeria are going to be having the same curriculum. Pardon me, let me use my glasses. I'm trying to see if there's any question. Please don't ask your question now. I'll give you time to ask your questions. So every university in Nigeria is going to be using the same curriculum. It has been harmonized together across all Nigerian universities. And this is to enhance quality teaching and learning. There have been situations where different universities have their own different curricula. But now CCMAS aims to harmonize this academic standard across all universities so that whatever happens in University of Lagos is happening in another university in Abuja. in another university in um, Oyo State, in Kwara State, like that. So if you are basically doing a course like zoology, you will all be doing the same thing across all universities. That's harmonization. Then it enhances the quality of teaching and learning, and it also improves the employability of graduates. That means it allows our graduates to be employable. A lot of politicians, a lot of people, they talk in the news, oh, Nigerian universities are churning out graduates that are not employable. This is to correct the situation. So CCMAS is a curriculum that has been upgraded and enhanced to allow employability of graduates. Inbuilt to the curriculum are also critical thinking and problem-solving innovation. So it promotes critical thinking and problem solving. So in essence, I've only mentioned the aim of CCMAS to you. CCMAS itself is a new curriculum that is being used now, starting from 100 level. So that means every 100 level is using a new curriculum along with other students in other university, be it private university, government university, military university, any university under the NUC is going to be using the CCMAS and is starting from now. Now, the previous set, 200 level, 300 level students or 400 level students, Staylight, are not going to use it now. They are not going to use it. The curriculum starts from this session. Now, previously, what we use is BMAS. BMAS is Benchmark Minimum Academic Standard, BMAS. So the, excuse me, the BMAS is what is used previously. And like I said, we are using something new. So if you look at BMAS and CCMAS, we see we have two different things and they are operating in different ways. Previously, universities across Nigeria, they have ability to develop their own curricula per se, according to the framework of BMAS. So now we have CCMAS. So the CCMAS is harmonization of all curriculum, while BMAS is tailored to specific universities. So you see the difference. Now, it is important to know that while BMAS provides a general framework, individual universities have the flexibility to develop their own specific curriculum within the guideline of BMAS. So, but that is not obtainable in CCMAS. CCMAS harmonizes all curriculum for all universities. They are basically doing the same thing, the same course content. That's what CCMAS is all about. And why do we change from BMAS to CCMAS? Because some say that BMAS lack rigidity. That means it does not have enough rigidity leading to, strong quality. There's a lot of universities, they water down the curriculum because they probably think some of our students are not brilliant, so they water down the curriculum and makes that unfit for employability. Not all universities, but some say, some argue. Another reason is because the curriculum that is being used in BMAS is outdated. It's a long time ago, more than 20 to 30 years ago. This curriculum has been in place, but the world is changing. The global world is changing. There are a lot of new topics, new subjects, new content that need to be studied that are not present in BMAS. That is why CCMAS is taking over. CCMAS is ensuring this is done. You understand me now? So all those outdated curriculum has been, revolutionized by CCMAS to give an up-to-date knowledge and content for learning and give student employability skills and critical thinking and problem-solving skills. The third reason is that it has been said that BMAS does not emphasize much on research, that the emphasis of BMAS is usually on theoretical, but CCMAS is now emphasizing more on research, emphasizing more on hands-on, theoretical ability and also hands-on, so both can harmonize effective learning and bring about acquisition of skills that provide employability in the job space. The beauty of being a graduate is to be employed immediately you graduated. So the CCMAS is taking over, and that is all for CCMAS. So please go ahead and do your registration, irrespective of any courses that have changed. I'm aware some people, they have brothers and sisters who are passing down notes to them, passing down courses to them, do this course, do this course, do this course. Courses have changed. You know, more courses are there. Some courses have been modified. Title content have changed. All you need to do is focus on the new curriculum. I bet you enjoy it. It can be tasking, both for students and lecturers, but at the end of the day, everything will be fine. Now let's look at course forms. That is all for CCMAS and BMAS. Course forms. Everyone will need to generate their course form. I'm aware because of some logistics, certain people are not able to generate their course form for now. But this is how a typical course form looks like. If you look at the course form, there is the aspect of your picture that is being shown. There's a picture here. Look at your picture. Though this picture is blurred, this picture shows that this is you. If you don't have a course form, that means you are not yet a bona fide of University of Lagos. So it brings out your picture, it brings out your registration number, it brings out your registration number is your matriculation number, which will be given to you automatically. It tells you about the course. Your department is indicated here, Department of Microbiology, program, Bachelor of Science in Microbiology. Last name, your last name is your surname. Your other names is your first and middle name. Everybody must have first and middle name. It's very important. Then the session is stated here. Then the semester is stated here. And you see the courses that you are taking for that semester is written here. Because this is the first semester. So if it's the second semester, it will be written there. So the courses we are going to do for that semester is here. And the total number of units is also calculated here. After choosing all your courses, everything comes out like this. Then you go ahead and sign your course form. When you sign your course form, you date it. Then you take it straight to your course advisor. This is very important. You have to ensure that your course advisor sign your course form. When they sign your course form, you have to print the course form in colored. You print it in colored. You have to print duplicate, one colored or two colored. Now you give the course advisor the two course form to sign. One copy is for you, and the other copy goes into your file. Everybody has been given a file. The moment you register, they give you a file. So this file, you keep the course form in your file. I will tell you the reason why you have to keep your course form later. So after this, you are fully registered for the course and that session. Peradventure, along the line, you discover that this particular course, I cannot cope. I want to delete this course. Although I don't advise 100 level students to delete courses. You must try to sit for the exam, try to attend all classes, try to ensure that you're up to date. Don't delete courses. This is too early for you to do that. But along the line, when people are in 200 level, 300 level, they can have one reason or the other to delete the course. Reason is probably the course was started early and you did not attend beginning, and they have done two tests. test is your continuous assessment and you discover your chances of passing this course is very low, then you can go ahead and delete the course. When the registration have closed, you cannot delete the course again. But whenever the registration is open, you can always edit. When you edit, you can remove the course, put another course, or you leave it. But you must have minimum number of courses you register. Minimum number of courses you register is stated. You have 21 units, which you must register. Out of these, there's a minimum number of electives. We'll talk about that later on. There's a minimum number of electives that you have to register. In our second part, I'm going to explain that to you in details. But because of our time, and I want to give you orientation based on the current situation. As time goes on, we have more and more meetings and talk about, so that I don't want anyone to have a problem. This orientation is to equip you, is to put you in the right path so that you don't fall into some wrong path and have mistakes, make mistakes. I'm sorry. So, as I was saying, after all that, and you discover everything is done, you can go ahead and submit your course form for signature. You keep your own file copy. Then you go for your classes. Then there is another document that looks exactly like this, but with slight changes. This is called your examination docket. Examination docket, I'm using a course form as a sample because examination docket look exactly like this. The only thing that is different is that it writes examination dockets. Every other thing is done, but it will not write a course form. It will show you this is examination docket. This shows that you have registered for that course. You have to bring it with you into the examination hall. As a matter of fact, there's a window of time, window of opportunity for you to download your docket and sign it and give to your course advisor to sign, and the head of department signs. That is the difference between course form and docket. Docket has course advisor signing and head of department signing. Students don't usually sign docket. Just print it and present for signature unless that will change. So when you present this, you print it. After it is duly signed, you will laminate it. At the back of your docket, at the back of your docket are examination rules and regulations. University of Lagos, like every other university, frowns at examination malpractices. So in order to avoid giving excuses, all the rules and regulations are stated at the back of your docket. You see it at the back of your docket that you must not do this, and you must not write on your examination docket. It is examination malpractice. Nobody is going to give you an excuse. They are not going to permit you. They are not going to permit you to write on it. Once you are caught writing on it, even though you are writing something different, you could face an examination panel. You could face an examination panel for writing on the docket. Okay? So, the docket is brought to the examination hall and it will review your photographs and the courses. So the course that you are offering is stated there. So if the courses is not in your examination docket, you cannot sit for that examination. You cannot sit for the examination. So in case you have deleted a course unknowingly and you want to do the course again and you forgot to register the course, you cannot sit for that examination because when you print your docket, the course you have deleted will be automatically removed from your docket. And the docket is like an ID card to allow you to enter the examination hall. As a student, if you don't have a student ID card, you can enter the examination hall, but you cannot enter the examination hall without your examination docket. And your course advisor must come to identify you, even though you have your docket, because some people can actually forge a docket. So your course advisor identifies you and also allow you to enter the examination hall. So that is that for examination docket. I will speak more about examination rules and regulation, but maybe I should just do that now. Now, one of the important information on examination rules and regulation is the use of mobile phone. The use of mobile phone is not allowed. Even though you bring the mobile phone into the examination hall and it's switched off, you could be taken for examination malpractice. So phones are not allowed in the examination hall. Phones are not allowed into the examination hall. Switch off your phone, keep it in your bag, and go to the examination hall. You are not allowed to bring in any extra document. You are only allowed to come into the examination with your docket and your writing material. Your writing materials is your pen, pencil, cleaner, mathematical sets, simple basic calculator, and graph sheets or every other writing materials that is allowed in the examination hall. You are not expected to put certain documents in your pocket. When you are reading, some people can be reading and they forgot what they jot in their pocket. That have landed some people an expulsion, rustication, even though the student may not really be cheating, just because you forgot it in your pocket. So it is very important that you don't put papers in your pocket. When you are reading, after finishing reading, change your clothes, wear another cloth, and go to the examination hall. Examination malpractice leads to sanctions. You could be expelled. You could be allowed, you may be expelled for 1 semester, 2 semesters, depending on the level of your offense. So also now, we have what is called CGPA. I want to tell you about CGPA. CGPA stands for Cumulative Grade Point Average. Cumulative Grade Point Average. This is a numerical representation of student overall academic performance. And it is calculated by taking the average of the grade point carried in all courses completed throughout a student academic career. CGPA is very important because a higher CGPA indicates a brilliant student, while a low CGPA also indicates poor performances. So CGPA is used in rating students as a first class, second class upper, second class lower, and third class. Pass has been abolished. I don't think there's any room for anybody to go with a grade of pass. But the grade that is being allowed is first class, second class upper, second class lower, and third class. So how do we calculate grade points? I've already mentioned that. But I want to say something about your CGPA. Very important. You see, CGPA, your CGPA must be built in your first year. What do I mean by building your CGPA? Ensure that you score excellent in all your courses, 70 and above. If you make 70 and above in all your courses, there's a guarantee that you can graduate with the first class. Your first class starts from 100 level. If you don't build a good CGPA at 100 level, you have a second chance in 200 level. If you don't build it in 200 level, it will be very difficult at 300 level, very difficult at 400 level, because it's called a cumulative grade point. So I'm saying this now as an advice that When you get to the university, remain focused. Remain focused. Holidays are for your pleasures. School sessions are for seriousness. Remain focused. Attend classes. Don't skip classes. Don't join people in skipping classes. If you skip classes, someday an important information may be announced in the class, or a test could be conducted. Some lecturers can give you emergency tests without informing you, and that test may be used for your assessment. So if peradventure you are absent during this particular class and a major test was given, you have lost that grade and you can never get it back. And it will affect your CGPA. Once your CGPA is affected, your dream of making a first class has been shattered. While it is impossible for everyone to remain a first class student, it is also possible for people to graduate with first class. In a class, you can have 20 people with first class. And in some classes, you can have people without first class. This is a function of the seriousness of the class. So this is very important. And as I said, we have the grades of CGPA that determine first class. If your CGPA is 4.5 and above, that means you are in a first class grade. You are in a first class grade. CGPA 4.5 and above, you are in a first class grade. When you have 3.5 to 4.49, you are in a second class upper grade. Second class upper. When you have 3.49 below, you are in second class lower. Second class lower is the worst you can be. Don't go to third class. Third class is between 2 point something. I don't want to mention it. I didn't put it there because I don't want to encourage you. So I expect everyone to be around minimum of 3.49. Don't go beyond that. That is why I'm not putting the other grades there for you, because I don't want you to put it to your head. I don't want to put it to your head. I want you to focus on the first class. At worst, focus on second class upper. Are you listening? Now, there is what is called probation and warning, then exit out of the system. Now, pay attention. Because you have been given an admission doesn't mean you can't lose that admission. People lose admission. I'll tell you why. People lose admission when they are academically poor. Aside the fact that the students get involved in some malpractices, malpractice can make you lose your admission. Engaging in some activities that is against university rule can make you lose admission. Every other violence, every other thing that is just a criminal activity can make a student lose admission. One thing that can also make a very good morally upbringing student is a God-fearing student, a generous student, an up and doing student, but is academically poor, can lose admission. How? If you fail consistently, your CGPA will drop. Your CGPA will be, once you have a CGPA of 1.9 over 5, because this 4.5 we are talking about is over 5 points, 3.5 over 5 points. So once you have CGPA of 1.9, automatically you are on probation. On probation means you are being watched. If you don't improve your performances and your CGPA drop to 1.2 or maybe 1.3 or so, I can't recall the figure exactly, but I know probation and warning is around one point. So you will also drop, and at that time you will be given a warning. Warning will be displayed on your record. That means you are to be very careful. At this point, you can't afford to fail courses any longer. You can't afford to fail courses any longer at this point. Once you fail any course now, once your CGPA is less than 1, automatically you are expelled out of the university. You will be asked to withdraw. Withdrawal from the university as a result of academic performance is irreversible. It's irreversible. Once you are withdrawn, you are out of the system. You can no longer be allowed to come to that department again. You can go ahead and write a JAM and choose a different course, but not that course any longer. You can no longer be admitted in that course because you have been tested, tried, and you failed. So, what is the lesson learned? You must never get to a point of having 1.9 as your CGPA. Please take note of this very important instruction. We are rounding up now. Attending classes. What are your venue? What are the venue for your classes? Yes. Currently, University of Lagos is using virtual. We are on virtual. We are virtual learning currently. But this virtual is just temporary. University of Lagos is now going to be having hybrid. When I say hybrid, it means both virtual and physical classes. Virtual classes is usually done via Zoom or YouTube. But when we have a physical classes, most of you 100 level students, your lectures will be taken at Distance Learning Institute. Why Distance Learning Institute? Because Distance Learning Institute has a facility that belongs to the university that can accommodate almost all of you in one venue. It's a big lecture theater that has air condition, screen, and so on. So you can learn in these classes. Or they can divide you into different halls where you can learn. So distance learning is at the second gate of University of Lagos. You can take a walk around and explore these places. This is where you'll be having most of your classes. Another venue for your classes are lecture theaters. These lecture theaters are situated at the Faculty of Science. We have LT018, LT009, and LT023. These lecture theaters are where you can have your classes, and mostly you'll be having classes in those places from 200 level. But your major classes in 100 level will be taken at DLI. Don't forget. So by January, from the instruction from management, we will know if you are going to resume to DLI or you will remain in virtual. However, for virtual classes, links for your classes, which is on Zoom, will be sent to you. And remember, because of the number of students involved, Zoom may not be able to accommodate all of you. That is why, for instance, I'm not using Zoom now. I'm using YouTube to transmit, even though I'm actually on Zoom, but I'm transmitting live on YouTube because Zoom has a capacity for only 300 participants, including the lecturer, which is that means 299 students. And in some courses, may have students offering the courses as much as 500. So it will be streamed live via YouTube. Make sure you be on time. You can easily log in into the Zoom. Now, in university settings, university is not like secondary school. There are things that happen in university. You don't talk You don't do things verbally in university. You put it in writing. So there are official letters of complaints from students, official letter of requests, notification that must be done. You don't go and say something to your course advisor and expect that this thing is done. No, you must put it in writing. Don't ever forget. Anything you want to do, let it be official. Because, you know, when you are coming from your secondary school, there used to be assembly. On the assembly, there's announcements. After the announcement, you meet your class teacher, you talk to your class teacher transmits your information to the headmaster to the proprietaries. All those don't happen in university. There's no assembly. There is no public announcement. Announcements are pasted on the notice board. On the notice board, they paste it for you. If you don't see it, it is nobody's concern. So you must be looking out for notice board where they paste announcement. Because of the advent of social media, example is WhatsApp. So announcements are sent through WhatsApp, even though most are also pasted. So announcement now can be transmitted through WhatsApp. So that is why sometimes when you're in WhatsApp group, it is not important that you begin to post irrelevant information, because when information that is important is posted, you will not see it. So the WhatsApp group is usually a medium, unofficial medium for broadcasting of announcement. So announcement can come from the management, from the faculty, from your lecturers. Always make sure that you be on the lookout for all these announcements and plug in. Now, you as a student must write a letter. So there are formats for letter writing. That is what I want to discuss. Lastly, and we will go into details. There are different types of letters that must be written. There are things that people will never tell you. And they will never tell you because they don't know, or because they are not aware, or because it's a long process. Now, if you don't go through this process, the consequences may be very, very serious in the future. In the future I'm talking about is probably a year later or 2 years later. There are different letters. Now, example of a letter that is here is letter of deferment. Now, let's take a look at this letter. A deferment is a situation where a student generally wants to, be absent for a semester or one session. You must write a letter of deferment. That means you defer the admission. If any one of you now have any reason not to come to school again after you have paid your school fees, you can write a letter to defer a session. Defer means you want to put it on hold and come back. If you don't write a letter and you go away, they call it absenteeism. That means you are absent. It will work against you. I will talk more about this in our second phase of orientation. We will dig more. There are so many things you need to know, which we are going to talk about. But because today is just the first one, I don't want to take time. I don't want to spend more than 1 hour. So now, looking at this letter again, letter of deferment. The first thing you must take note is your own address. You must have your own address at the top left. I've cleaned this address for you. Then you also have, where are you writing the letter to? For instance, there are letters that can be written to the vice chancellor. You can write a letter to the dean. You can write a letter to a course coordinator. You can write a letter to head of department. I'm going to tell you all these things in our second phase. There are many letters, and there are different people to address the letter to, and there are ways these letters are written. So the first thing in this page, you are writing a letter to the dean of the faculty, indicating your interest to defer your session. So the dean is the first. You write to the dean or Faculty of Science. But you can't write a letter to the dean directly. You have to write through the sub-dean of the faculty. And also, you have to write through the course advisor. In some cases, in most cases, you may not write through the sub-dean. You write here through your course advisor. This sub-dean will be head of department. You write through your head of department. The reason why this letter is for sub-dean is because the student that is involved is writing as a pharmacy student. All pre-med students, they are under the sub-dean. The sub-dean is the head of department. But if you are in a department like biochemistry, a department like chemistry, department like microbiology, this is how your letter is going to be like. Your letter will first of all be through your course advisor. Your course advisor will sign at this point. He will endorse it. Then you now put through the head of department microbiology, head of department biochemistry, head of department of your department. Then your head of department will sign. This is the signature. It will be endorsed here. And your letter will pass on to the dean. Or if you are writing to the vice chancellor, there are procedures. I will tell you more about this procedure. So once you do this, you have officially communicated to the relevant authorities. You make sure you have a copy of this letter in your personal file. Don't forget, you must always have a copy of everything, every documentation. Have a copy in your personal file. That is why a file is given to you. So you have a personal file with you. You have a personal file with your course advisor. So you file it. You can make a copy and tell your course advisor, please let me put in my file. You also keep a copy in your personal file at home. Because sometimes when you write a letter and the letter gets to a point and they can't find this letter again, or maybe they ask you, when did you write this letter? There's no evidence of any letter here. You bring this out. When they see the date, then they can trace it. It's very important. This is very, very important. So I will talk more about letters and other things which they are highlighted. I will tell you the highlights in our next meeting. But for now, I will entertain your questions and answers based on what we have talked about, because I do not plan to stay long. So I will be taking your questions and answers. You can post your questions in the chat. Put it in the chat and I will read and I will answer. So can we have a question from anyone from what we have talked about? If there is no question, I can as well end this meeting right now. But if you have questions, let me know right now. Post it in the comment section. Thank you. Okay, I'm seeing a question, sir. Please, what is the difference between rustication and expulsion? This is good. You see, expulsion means you are out of that system completely. But rustication means maybe they put you out for 1 semester or 2 semesters or for a session, you can be taken back into the system. Okay, so expulsion means completely out. Another question, can you discuss on the letter aspect again? I told you we'll talk about this later. Don't worry. This is YouTube. You can come back to this and watch what I said. In our next phase of orientation, I will talk more about all the letters, type of letters, leave of absence, deferments, and so on and so forth. Is the exam docket and the course form gotten from the student portal? Yes. The exam docket and the course form will be printed. The only thing is that you cannot print your docket now. Docket will be enabled when it's time for examination. When it's time for examination, docket will be enabled and you can print it out. But for now, you may not be able to print it out. I don't understand the course advisor. Okay, when you talk about course advisor, every student has somebody that takes care of them. When I say take care of them, not like taking care, there's somebody that is responsible for you. Every student has, I mean, every level, year 1, year 2, year 3, and so on. Year 1 course advisor, year 2, year 3, year 4 course advisors. These are people responsible for signing on your behalf. These are people responsible for signing on your behalf. Excuse me. Hey, Jomo, class. I'm online class. So these are the people that are your level advisors. Sorry about that. So every course advisor at one, they help you to sign your documents. They are like your classroom teacher. But not classroom per se. Okay? Now, how are we to register for only compulsory courses? Good evening, sir. For 100 level, are we to register for only 100 level compulsory courses? Yes. All your courses at 100 level, they are compulsory. You have to register for that. Sir, please, can we generate our course form before being given matric number? Yes, can generate it. It's not a problem. But later on, matric number will be given to you. Sir, can we generate our, okay, I'll answer that. Please, sir, can you recap the lecture venues? Wow. I said we have LT 018, LT 009, LT 023. Or what I think it's 023. But you go to DLI for your classes. DLI, we have those lectures are not number. I can't remember their numbers. But when you get to DLI, you go to the lecture theater. You see the lecture theater. We have a big lecture theater, or we have these halls where we have classes. Generally, you will see when you just ask for the lecture classes, you'll be shown to where it is. Good evening, please, concerning deferment of admission, when the person involved resumes, does it continue like it skip a year or does it repeat that session? Okay, wonderful question. When a student defer, when a student defer admission, this is what happens. That year, the student is no longer there. Okay? When the student resumes, all his cohorts will have been in 200 level. Okay, let's say the student define admission in 100 level. So, and the student cannot come. All his mates will be in 200 level. The student has to go and repeat that 100 level. Okay? The student will go and repeat it. He can't skip. He can't skip it. He can't skip that level. The student will go back and repeat because you have not actually done anything. It means that you went away, but your school fees have been paid. You paid your school fees and you went away. When you come back, you resume. You now sit for lectures and sit for exam and continue. So how do we get the file you said you'll be giving to us? When you register, you get a file. That means you have not registered. Once you register, you get a file. If one writes a letter of deferment to be absent for a session, will the person's CGPA be affected? No. Because when you defer, that means you are not going to write the exam. Automatically, your record for that session will be expunged. On your broadsheet, it will indicate that you are absent officially, deferment. It is called leave of absence. I will tell you more about this. Okay, I will explain in details in our next class. So let me just answer briefly on that. I don't want to waste time on this because I don't want to use more than 1 hour. So are you certain of our mode of resumption? Is it physical or virtual? Now, I can tell you authoritatively that currently we are having virtual classes, 100% virtual classes for 100 level, for 200 or 300. For people in College of Medicine, they are having hybrid. Now, when the school resumes in January, there is a high possibility, 70% to 80% chances that we will remain virtual. But if we are to go hybrid, the school management is going to announce this. The reason for us going fully virtual is because the school wants to put in place a functional, perfect accommodation for all students. That is why. So, the next question, sir, please. So, if someone is rusticated, how would they do their courses and exam? Rustication means you are caught doing malpractice. You have to repeat it again. If a student is rusticated, that student will repeat that semester or that session all over again. Okay? So the student will lose that year. That session, the student will lose it. The next session, the student will now come back again and re-register for all the courses, all the tests, all the exams that the student have done will completely wipe out. The student will start all over again. That means if the student is reabsorbed back. Please, sir, will the material for the new CCMAS curriculum be sent by next year? Sure. When you start attending classes, lecturer will share their materials for you. That is not a problem. Olubumi, is it possible to transfer from one department to another after performing well? Yes. You can transfer, but not all departments can be transferred to. Usually, when you are performing well, you can transfer, but there are departments you cannot go to. Now, if you want to cross to College of Medicine from, let's say, chemistry, it's not allowed. You can downgrade, but it's not easy to upgrade. Upgrading means maybe you are doing, let me say, zoology, and you want to cross to medicine. It's not easy. Do you know why it's not easy? It's because at that point, there are direct entry students that wants to enter that same course. So they are going to consider direct entry students coming for that course before they consider you. And there will always be direct entry students coming for that course at 100 level. So if you want to cross, you can only cross from 100 level to 200 level. Once you're at 200 level, you can't cross again. If you want to cross, you have to step down. You have to downgrade. That means if you're supposed to go to 300 level, you have to repeat 200 level. So people don't want to do that. So that is the reason why it's not always easy. Then, good evening, sir. What can I do if I'm having problem with my course registration? I can't see some courses on the portal. Okay, the course registration issue will be resolved as soon as possible. By January, we are working on it, logistics, to ensure that all the courses are being registered for. You will see this. So don't worry. This holiday period, just relax your mind. Just go ahead and study. Your registration will be done. Okay? Sir, please, sir, how has it now been concluded that the old slides are outdated? We should not bother getting it from our elderly. I did not say that. I did not say that. I'm only telling you that course codes have changed. Course content too have changed. If the old courses content has not changed, go ahead. Okay? But if it has changed, you may not. You may not. But the thing is this. The thing is this. Let me say biology 101. Let me say biology 101. If biology 101 code initially used to be FSC 111, now FSC 111 is now biology 101. It is not 100% total change. Some content may still be there, so you can still study that. But some content may have been added to it. You have to check properly. Okay? If our lectures are virtual, how do we go about exam? Will it be virtual too? No, your exam will be physical. You will not do a virtual examination. For biochemistry students, is there any cutoff mark to meet to cross to Idiaraba? No, no. For biochemistry, there's no cutoff mark. Just make sure you don't fail. If you fail, you will not be allowed, but you should not fail. There's no cutoff mark, usually. But if you fail, they will not allow you. If someone fails a course, is that an automatic carryover? Yes. You fail a course, it is an automatic carryover. The only course you don't carry over is an elective course. If the course is an elective, you will not carry it over, but you must pass elective. All these things we are going to talk about in our next class, in our next orientation, that will be January, not this year more. So in the elective course are courses that you can do if you want. They are not compulsory. If you fail them, you will not carry it over. But there's a minimum number of elective that you must pass. You have to pass 128 units of elective courses. If you don't pass 128 units of elective courses, you will not graduate. Even though if you have taken all your courses and you have not passed minimum unit of elective. What do I mean? Every courses have units. You may say Bio 101 is 3 units, Bio 102 is 3 units. Now, so also is elective. For every elective, there are corresponding units. Now, from 100 level to 400 level, if you calculate all the number of electives that you are supposed to take, all the units must exceed 128, or they must be 128 exactly. If you don't have up to 128, if you fail an elective course in a particular year, make sure you do elective later to meet up. Because you don't repeat elective doesn't mean that you graduate without passing elective. You will never graduate. So, what else again? Sir, please. Okay, if someone has a carryover, does the person do it in next semester or in the next session? Yes, all this I'm going to explain to you. The person will do it in the next session. You can't do it in the next semester. All the courses for first semester, once you do them, you can never do them again. It's over. Second semester, there are new set of courses. Then you don't do those ones again. You're going to do a new set of courses in 200 level. So a course you did not pass in first year, you add it to your courses as a carryover. Means you are bringing them to your new level to do it. You cannot do it that year. Once you fail it, you have failed it. In the second year, you do it again. You do it until you pass it. What time exactly will the virtual class start and what time in January? It will be announced. School will resume in January, it will be announced. We are not going on break per se. Just registration is stopped, and this we are in festive period. School resume immediately January. Is it not January 3rd or what? After the yeah, it should be January 6th. Yes, January 6th. School resume fully. Sir, can one transfer from one department to another within the same faculty, for example, from medical laboratory science to medicine and surgery? It is difficult. It is difficult. Good evening, sir. Is it easier to transfer from a department to College of Medicine? It is difficult. Next person, how is test and exam graded? We'll talk about that later. I don't want to go into deep into that now. How test and exam are graded, we'll talk about that because of our time. Sir, where can we get the slide and note for our subject? The lecturers will give them to you. Sir, will GST be added to our GPA? No, GST is not added, but you just must pass it. You have to pass it. It's not used in computing your grades. GST is only pass or fail. That's the grade. Pass or F. P or F. It's not used in grading. Will GST be added to our GPA? No. Is there a particular point a pharmacology student must get to be able to cross over? I'll tell you that later. I'll tell you. A pharmacology student, they are based on CGPA. Okay? Just ensure you don't fail courses. Well, I'm not going to encourage you failing one course. You can still cross over if you have one course failed. But don't practice that. Ensure you pass all your courses. Even though you have 2.0, you will cross over in pharmacology. Can biochemistry student cross to nursing after getting GPA on the level? It's difficult. It's difficult. They are possible, but they are very difficult. The reason is because if you are crossing to nursing 12 level, there are people who are coming from UPEP foundation and direct entry into 12 level. Those ones must first of all fill in the gap. If there are no application for UPEP direct entry, then you can cross. But there are always applications, and those applications are never satisfied. 100 people can apply and probably 50 will be taken. So you see why it's difficult. Good evening, sir. Please, is it certain we will be able to generate our course from by January? Yes. Sir, is it compulsory for us to offer elective course? Yes. What is the difference between GST and elective course? Oh, GST are general knowledge courses. Elective courses are courses that are somehow related to your courses, which you may not do compulsorily. But if you do it, it's best to pass it. I'll be rounding up now. I don't want to answer more questions because of your time. I don't want to spend more time because of data for some people. I hope you understand. So, sir, please, will GST 111 be part of our GPA? No, GST will not be used for CGPA. Sir, what are the criteria for nursing students for them to cross to College of Medicine? Don't fail a course. Don't fail. That's the criteria. Don't fail. Make sure you pass. Okay. I think it's the right time to stop right now. We will continue on the second leg. We will continue on the second leg. So I want to implore everyone to, remain focused. I will give an announcement as time goes on regarding our next orientation, which will be in January. So if you subscribe to this channel, once we go live, you will get a notification. So kindly subscribe to the channel so that once I click on anything, you can hear it. From now, from me to you, I think I have to call it a day. Thank you for joining in. Good night.